You know, some fights pick you, not the other way around. I never thought I'd end up in a backyard war over a helicopter, but when Lisa, our HOA president, came charging down my driveway like she was leading a SWAT team, I knew this wasn't just about my chopper, it was personal. Picture this. I'm easing my Robinson R44 onto my private helipad, blades still humming, when there's Lisa, one sandal missing, hair looking like it fought a windstorm and lost, waving a clipboard like it's a court order and screaming about unauthorized aerial nonsense, ruining her neighborhood's vibe. I'm Jake, by the way, just a guy who flies for a living surveying pipelines, hopping over city traffic when the highways turn into parking lots. My little helipad, tucked behind my house in a quiet suburb of Raleigh, North Carolina, was a dream I built from scratch, fully legal, FAA approved, even blessed by the county zoning board. It came with the property I bought 3 years ago, a gift from my dad, who used to fly crop dusters and taught me that the sky's the only place you're truly free. Most neighbors loved it, kids would wave. Old man Jenkins next door once asked for a cockpit selfie. But Lisa? Oh, Lisa saw my chopper like it was a personal insult to her perfectly manicured cul-de-sac. That first day, she slapped a violation notice in my hand, big red letters screaming 48 hours TO remove or we tow. Tow a helicopter? I almost laughed, but her eyes were dead serious, like she'd already called the tow truck. This violates HOA Rule 4.2, no heavy machinery on residential lots, she snapped, jabbing a finger at my R44 like it had keyed her car. I tried to explain calmly, mind you, still in my flight jacket, that I had permits, noise compliance records, the works. She wasn't hearing it. This isn't about your papers, Jake, she hissed. It's about community standards. And just like that, I knew. Lisa wasn't just fighting my helicopter. She was fighting me, the guy who dared to live a little bigger than her rulebook allowed. Lisa was the queen of control. She'd been running the Pinewood Estates HOA like her personal fiefdom for years, fining people for unapproved mailbox colors, sending nastograms if your grass grew a half-inch too tall. Rumor was she once made a new mom cry over a non-compliant stroller parked in a driveway. Her power came from that clipboard and her obsession with what she called suburban serenity. My helicopter? It was a flying middle finger to her whole system. So she doubled down fast. The next morning, my mailbox was stuffed with HOA newsletters, a whole section labeled Skyward Disruptions with a blurry photo of my chopper angled to look like it was dive-bombing the community pool. By noon, she'd plastered no-fly zone stickers on every streetlight, complete with a crossed-out helicopter logo. It was ridiculous, but I'll admit, it stung. She was painting me as the neighborhood villain. I tried to play nice at first. I invited her over, showed her my laminated FAA clearance, my pilot's license, even the deed proving my helipad was grandfathered into the property. She skimmed the papers, lips pursed, and muttered, "This doesn't change the optics, Jake." Optics. I realized then she didn't care about facts, she cared about winning. That's when things got wild. She started filming my landings, narrating like a true crime podcaster. Observe the reckless descent, endangering our rose bushes. She even sent a drone buzzing over my backyard until it crashed into my tomato patch, and my security cam caught her sneaking over at midnight to retrieve it, her sequin yoga pants sparkling like a disco ball. I could have called her out, but I held back. I wanted to fight smart, not petty. Then came the big one, an official HOA notice threatening to tow my chopper, claiming it was a public hazard. Tow it how? With a crane? A monster truck? It was absurd, but the threat lit a fire in me. I sent a cease and desist letter, copied to the FAA and my lawyer, thinking that'd shut her up. Nope. Lisa called an emergency HOA meeting, complete with a PowerPoint titled Operation Airspace Anarchy. She stood there, pointer in hand, ranting about noise pollution and spinning blades of chaos, while a grainy slide of my R44 loomed behind her. I stood up, cool as I could, and said, "Lisa, the FAA regulates airspace, not your HOA. You've got no jurisdiction here." Her face went redder than her no-fly stickers. "This isn't about laws, Jake," she shot back. "It's about our community's soul." The room went quiet. Half the neighbors were stifling laughs, but I could tell she'd rattled a few. That's when I knew I had to push back, hard. I started small, flying short, legal training loops over the neighborhood, waving at kids, landing soft to keep the noise down. People noticed. Kids ran out with homemade signs saying "Fly high, Jake." Parents snapped photos. Lisa, though? She was out there with a decibel meter, scribbling notes like she was building a case for the Supreme Court. Then she crossed a line I never expected. One morning, I found my chopper tampered with, bolts missing from the tail rotor, a skid loosened, fuel cap pried open. If I'd flown without checking, I could have crashed, maybe worse. My heart sank, but my blood boiled. I called the cops, filed a report, and handed over my security footage, a shadowy figure at 3 a.m., clutch and jeep a clipboard. The officer looked at the tape, shook his head, and said, "Someone wants you grounded, man." That was my breaking point. No more playing defense. I got on the phone with the FAA, fast-tracked approval for an emergency landing zone on the HOA's common greenbelt right next to Lisa's pristine front yard. It was legal, strategic, and just a little poetic. Then I went bigger. I hosted a helicopter safety day, invited the whole neighborhood, and even got a local news crew out. Kids climbed in the cockpit, adults asked about fuel specs, and I walked everyone through the safety protocols, proving my chopper was no menace. Lisa showed up, arms crossed, glaring like I'd stolen her thunder. By the end, people were clapping, and she was fuming. The showdown came at an HOA meeting. I walked in, legal folder in hand, and took the floor. "This isn't personal," I said, passing out copies of the sabotage report, FAA approvals, and a memo on federal aviation law. But tampering with an aircraft? Filing fake 911 calls? That's not leadership, that's harassment. Lisa tried to interrupt, but I cut her off. "You've had your say. Now I'm having mine." The room was dead silent. When I finished, even her loyalists looked shaken. One board member, Tom, a quiet guy who'd always seemed fed up, leaned forward and asked, "Jake, can you legally land on the greenbelt if needed?" I slid him the FAA map. He nodded, looked at Lisa, and said, "Well, that settles it." Lisa's empire crumbled fast. The sheriff's department sent a letter blasting her fake 911 call. Someone leaked a petition she'd forged signatures on. At the next meeting, she tried one last speech, voice shaking, about how my chopper stole her peace. But the neighbors weren't buying it. One by one, they spoke up about her flower color fines, her hammock threats, her endless power trips. The board suspended her, and she stormed out, leaving a stunned silence behind. I could have stopped there, but I wanted to do something bigger, something to heal the neighborhood. So I threw a Skyfest barbecue, complete with free chopper rides and a drone snapping an aerial photo of everyone waving below. We hung it in the clubhouse with a plaque. "Together, we soar." Even Tom, now acting HOA president, showed up, grinning, saying, "You gave us our neighborhood back, Jake." The craziest part? Lisa sent me a tiny model of my R44. No note, just the gesture. I don't know if it was an apology or a surrender, but it felt human. Looking back, I wonder, was Lisa the villain, or just someone scared of losing control in a world that felt too big? I fought for my chopper, sure, but I also fought for something deeper, the right to live free, to be who you are, without someone's clipboard telling you otherwise. And maybe that's why this story sticks with me, why I'm telling it now. So, what do you think? Was I right to push back, or should I have just moved to avoid the drama? Drop a comment, share your own HOA horror stories. I am reading everyone. And if you like this, hit that subscribe button. There's always another story where the sky's the limit.